I wasn't sure who they were talking about. Didn't seem to be me, but are you having fun? I am. Can I tell you how good it is to be alive? Especially tonight. I'm clearly overwhelmed by this celebration because your being here means that ICS has a big future. And the Annenberg students, both the J School and the communication, along with Dean Wilson and his great staff and his great faculty, and the fantastic Alumni Association, and me, we all thank you. We all thank you for being here. And have you noticed? I'm still in uniform. And how about that exhaustive search by Amy Jo Luna and her Sherlock Holmes colleagues? They tracked you down, each and every one of you, and it wasn't easy. But wow, that's love. And that deserves applause. And I think another round of applause is due to the work of those lovely co-chairs tonight, Jane Santafanti, Jane Huschmidt, Christy Salcido. And they didn't do it alone. They had committees that could teach our dear friend, Mr. Watson, or Dr. Watson, a thing or two about rounding up the usual suspects. And while I'm dispensing kudos, can I tell you how very impressed I am with Gordon Stables and his coordinator, Sabrina Chong. These are Annenbergians charged with taking ICS forward. You can see I'm still huffing and puffing. You've had reference to my age, and I can't believe that, but it's true. Chronologically. But tonight I'm not looking back over my shoulder to see how far behind me you are, as we were heading toward one of our media locations in London or Paris or Prague or Frankfurt or Rome or Geneva, of course. You're here. And ever since I was told about this birthday party, the memories stirred in me, stored there and stirred in me for the last 40 years have been flooding through my mind. And I bet there are hundreds and hundreds of memories lodged in these tables out here in front of me that might make a very readable book. What do you think? For many of you, it was your first trip abroad. And what a first trip it was. Some of you packed too much stuff. Your bags were so big that they often didn't fit in the luggage racks. That's true. Or they broke our backs as we loaded them on and off the trains. And unfortunately, they hardly fit in those tiny rooms they gave us in those small hotels. And you blame me for setting the dress code. Heels for the gals and ties for the men. But I did it for you, so you could show off a little. You were happy that in our first city, people spoke English, or close to it. And you felt right at home when you found that pub. That special pub that became your local watering hole for 2 weeks. And as for our studies, you not only managed to infuse the information from about 30 media sessions during our 5-week trip, but also to remember it all and to write 4 short papers, a 15-page special topic report, remember? And you endured a 5-hour final. Not bad, folks. In my book, you were champs. And remember how you suffered through my endless getting acquainted walks on that first night in that first city. It was designed to help you sleep and beat your jet lag, even if you didn't believe it at the time when I told you. And speaking of sleep, I was chagrined when several of you teased me about my own drooping eyelids during certain media sessions. Sorry about that. It just shows that the pace we were moving in was pretty fast. And I'm remembering these things vividly. My anger and fear for your safety when one of you did a handstand on the railing of a Paris bridge. True. And another of you, and you're right in this room, jumped down from the platform to the tracks below to pick up a piece of jewelry with the train coming. True. He might wish to stand, but I don't think he will. I remember the puzzled astonishment on people's faces who watched you doing a big musical number from the Fantastics on the entry steps to Rome's Pantheon. And he's sitting right down here. I had to do it. And also your first panicky encounter with a group of gypsies. Or your joyful surprise when we were welcomed into the executive dining rooms for lunch at both L'Oreal and Nestle. That was pretty special. Now picture this one. We're arriving at the studios of Radio Free Europe in Prague, and our host takes me aside and says, "Your new Annenberg dean is in the building." And I say, "No way. It hasn't been announced yet." And she says, "Yes, just this morning. His name is Jeffrey Cowan, and he is one of our board members." And I say, "Can we meet him?" And she says, "Maybe he might be able to pop in for a moment." Well, he did pop in and stayed for about 40 minutes because, as he put it, you came a long way to welcome me. And I want to know more about this ICS program. Of course, this program was not a one-man band. It was nurtured over the years by some nifty faculty members who also took a turn at guiding you through the streets and seminars of Europe. Folks like Ken Smith, Pat Penny, Steve Baer, Jack Heeger, Dave Herford. They all played a vital part in the ICS success story. But I could not sleep tonight if I failed to thank my program coordinators and teaching assistants who were both my right and left hands, and especially those who have traveled so far to be here tonight. Out there is sitting Craig Buttram, Jane Santafanti, whom you've met, Lisa Galloway, Maureen Hansen, Jane Huschmidt, you also met, Andrea Miller, Joan O'Connor, you saw in the tape, Glenn Osaki, and Audrey Seibert. And I also really can't forget our surrogate mother on so many of those trips, Nona Bear. Thank you, Nona. ICS has opened a lot of doors, has fostered or cemented a number of lifelong communication careers, has applied on-site answers to urgent questions about international journalism and public relationships. That's why it remains a priceless program for tomorrow's communicators and global citizens. And by the way, as it's been mentioned earlier, it has spawned a taste for travel and transformed what might have been just summer acquaintance into really close friendships, and even a few happy marriages. I think you can see that I'm just a tad partial to this program, and I don't want to see it lose its valued place in Annenberg's curriculum. I am hoping that you feel the same way. And I guess I'm saying all this because of two things I charged you with. At our first orientation meeting, I said to you, quote, "After ICS, you will never be the same," unquote. And at our final banquet, at the ending of our 5 weeks together, when I said to you, "This isn't goodbye, you're mine forever." So I say happy birthday, ICS, and you, my fellow ICS travelers, are the best and biggest gifts anyone could ask for. And to close for now, let me shamelessly borrow from a former boss. He used to sing it, I'm just going to say it. Thanks for the memories.